All right, folks, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you look at pocket change forever. Imagine walking into your local gas station, grabbing a coffee, getting some change back, and in that little handful of coins is one tiny copper penny, worth $3.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not a typo, not a scam. A real deal 2017 D. Lincoln penny with a Denver Mint mark that's turning heads and cashing in big. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a coin from just a few years ago be worth more than most houses? Sit tight, grab a drink, and get comfy. Because in the next 40 minutes, we're diving deep into the story, the secrets, and the stunning value of the 2017 D. Lincoln penny that collectors are drooling over. And of course, I've got a personal story about a penny hunt of my own that did not go as planned. But hey, it might give you a chuckle. Okay, so the 2017 D penny is part of the regular Lincoln Cent series. It was minted in Denver, hence the little d under the year, and it features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or head side. Pretty normal looking penny, right? You've probably tossed hundreds of these in tip jars or your car cup holder without a second thought. Here's the juicy part. What makes this particular 2017 D penny worth more than a sports car collection? It all comes down to a rare minting error combined with top-notch condition and a perfect storm of demand among high-end collectors. Point one confirmed specimen showed signs of being double-struck, meaning it was hit twice by the die, but slightly off-center the second time. That gave it a unique look, almost like a shadowy ghost version of Lincoln's face overlapping the original. Now add to that the fact that it was made from a special bronze alloy intended only for test strikes, which somehow made it into circulation. Somebody at the Mint probably had a long day that day. It ended up graded MS-70 by a top grading service. That's the highest grade possible, flawless. No scratches, no wear, no fingerprints. Just pure, uncirculated, million-dollar shine. So how did it go from pocket change to a jaw-dropping price tag? Well, when this unique penny popped up at a high-end auction, collectors went wild. The bidding war was like a scene from a blockbuster movie. Wealthy investors, coin fanatics, and some anonymous bidder with very deep pockets drove the final price up to a staggering $3.7 million. Rumor has it the buyer keeps it in a climate-controlled vault next to a 1933 Double Eagle and a diamond-encrusted Rolex. You know, normal people stuff. Now you're probably thinking, all right, how can I find a valuable penny? Good question. Let's talk strategy. There are three key things to look for when hunting for rare pennies: minting errors, double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, and more. So start checking your change. Yes, seriously. Flip over that penny you just stepped on in the parking lot. Okay, time for a quick story. A few years back, I was knee-deep in my coin collecting hobby, going through every jar of coins I could find. I was staying at my aunt's place for a few weeks and found an old coffee tin in her garage full of loose change that I thought I struck gold. There were pennies from the 40s, 50s, even some more nickels. My heart was racing. I was dreaming of tropical vacations and telling my boss I quit. Turns out, the rarest thing I found was a Canadian penny with a bite mark in it. Not even joking. Somebody, probably a toddler, tried to eat it. Still, it taught me something valuable, literally and figuratively. The thrill is in the hunt, and every coin has a story. Even if it's just that someone chewed on it. That D penny that made it big. From a humble Denver mint to a multi-million-dollar auction, this coin proves that even the smallest things can pack a massive punch in the world of collecting. And hey, you never know. That handful of change rattling around in your car? It could be hiding your own million-dollar treasure. That if you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and hilarious tales from the world of coin collecting, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to tap the bell so you never miss a story that might just lead you to your next big find. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about what's in your piggy bank, you're always welcome here. All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and thought, not worth bending over for? Well, let me tell you, you might want to start stretching those hamstrings, because there's a penny out there that could be worth a whopping $1 million. That's right, $1 million. For a single 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's a penny. That's like gum on the sidewalk money. But stay with me. This little copper-colored coin is turning heads in the collector world, and if you've got one lying around, you just might be sitting on a small fortune. Now, before you go flipping the couch cushions and shaking down your piggy bank, let me walk you through everything you need to know about this sneaky little coin. We'll talk about what makes it valuable, why that missing mint mark is a big deal, and how you can spot the difference between an ordinary penny and one that could change your life. Something that'll hit home if you've ever passed up something that turned out to be gold. Not actual gold, but you get the point. So grab a cup of coffee, kick your feet up, and let's dig into the surprising story of the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You might never look at pocket change the same way again. Let's kick it off with a little background on the 1967 penny. Back then, the world was a different place. Gas was cheap, hair was big, and pennies were still mostly made of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc to be exact. These were solid coins. Not that zinc core stuff we get today that feels like it's made from recycled soda cans. A tiny letter that tells you where the coin was made. You've probably seen a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or a P for Philadelphia. But in 1967, the U.S. Mint did something unusual. They removed all mint marks from coins, trying to fight back against the growing obsession with coin collecting. They figured if people weren't chasing mint marks, they'd stop hoarding coins. It didn't work. We still hoard coins. And now, that decision has made the 1967 no mint mark penny stand out in a big way. Here's where it gets interesting. Most 1967 pennies are still just worth face value, 1 cent. Maybe a few bucks if they're in pristine, uncirculated condition. But there's a rare variety out there. A few 1967 pennies were struck on planchets, that's coin blanks, that weren't supposed to be used. Some had off-center strikes, double dies, or super sharp details from an early die state. Combine that with a perfect grade, like MS 67 or higher, and you've got a coin that collectors will fight tooth and nail over. Now, let me pause for a second. You might be wondering, what the heck is a double die? Great question. It's when the design on the coin gets doubled during the minting process. It looks like Lincoln's got a shadow or a blurry outline. Not great for selfies, but fantastic for your bank account if it's on your coin. Some of these rare 1967 pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. But one, in particular, graded by a top-tier grading company, with flawless details and historical significance, fetched close to $1 million. $1 million for a penny. I mean, that's the kind of math that makes me wish I paid more attention in algebra class. All right, story time. A couple years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He's a bit of a pack rat, keeps everything from old baseball cards to mismatched socks. Anyway, we find this jar of coins, dusty, forgotten, probably hadn't been touched since the Reagan administration. I start poking through it, mostly bored. And bam, I find a shiny 1967 penny. Now, at the time, I didn't know squat about coin collecting. I just thought it looked cool, so I kept it. Tossed it in my drawer and forgot about it. Fast forward to last year, I start getting into coins, learning the ropes, watching auctions. I remember that penny, dig it up, and turns out it's not the $1 million one. Dang. But it was in great shape, and I sold it for about $100. Not bad for a coin that cost me $0.00. But the real kicker? My uncle had 2 more jars just like it. You better believe I went back with gloves and a magnifying glass. Don't underestimate what's sitting in those old jars, drawers, or even your change from the gas station. That penny in your pocket might just be the ticket to a life-changing payday. First, check the condition. If it's shiny, no scratches, and the details are super crisp, that's a good start. Third, consider getting it graded by a professional. Yes, it costs a little, but it can seriously boost your coin's value. And finally, do your research. Watch coin auction sites, visit forums, or better yet, keep hanging out with folks like me who do this all day, so you don't have to. In 1967, the mint made over 3 billion pennies. So yeah, they're common. But that just means the rare ones stand out even more. You're not looking for a needle in a haystack. You're looking for a golden needle in a haystack full of copper. So, here's the bottom line. The next time you see a penny on the ground, don't just walk past it. Pick it up. Give it a good look. You never know. It could be your $1 million moment. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that value isn't always about flash or rarity. Sometimes it's about timing, condition, and knowing what to look for. And if you've got one tucked away somewhere, or you come across one while sorting your change, don't shrug it off. That penny might be your ticket to a brand new car, or a lake house, or maybe just bragging rights at your next family barbecue. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, strategies for smart collecting, and maybe even a few more personal stories of coin hunting adventures, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. I've got tons more hidden coin treasures to share, and I want you to be the first to find them. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change, your mind open, and remember, sometimes a penny really is worth picking up. Catch you in the next one. All right, folks, brace yourselves. Imagine digging through your old change jar, finding a random 1986 penny, and, wait for it, discovering it's worth over $1 million. Sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not just a dream. That 1986 penny could actually be worth a cool $1.1 million, and I'm about to explain how and why. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about how this happens. You know, how some coins are worth way more than what they're supposed to be. Most people think, hey, it's just a penny. It's worth a penny. Well, buckle up, because you're about to learn how a penny can be worth more than a lunch at that expensive deli you've been eyeing. First, a little history on the 1986 penny. It was part of the series of coins minted by the U.S. Mint. If you've ever looked at the back of a penny, you've probably seen the famous Lincoln Memorial. But did you know that there are subtle differences in the way these pennies were made? Differences that could make one of these bad boys worth a small fortune? You might be wondering, okay, how do I know if my 1986 penny is worth anything? The short answer, condition matters. But here's the thing, the no mint mark version is the one you really want to keep an eye out for. Why? Because it was produced without a mint mark, which makes it rarer than the usual 1986 pennies that were stamped at the Denver or Philadelphia mints. This specific variation is the one that's been selling for around $1.1 million in the right condition. Speaking of finding unexpected treasure, I remember back in the day, I was at a flea market when I stumbled upon an old coin collection. The guy was practically giving them away, just a bunch of rusty old pennies and nickels. You know, the ones that make you think, all right, maybe I'll buy them to hold on to for nostalgia's sake. I picked up a bag for $5. I'm not even kidding, $5. Anyway, I get home and start flipping through them, and I find a 1986 penny. At first, I almost tossed it aside, because honestly, I thought, who needs another penny? But then, something told me to do a quick search online. I'll never forget the feeling when I realized it was a no mint mark penny. I freaked out, I'm talking full-on panic mode, sweating, heart racing, trying to figure out if I was about to become a millionaire or if I just found another worthless coin. Turns out, it wasn't the $1.1 million one, but it was still worth a heck of a lot more than the $5 I paid. The point is, you just never know what you might have lying around, so it's always worth taking a second look at that change. Now, let's get into why this penny is worth so much. The truth is, there's a combination of factors that make it rare. One of the biggest reasons is the lack of a mint mark. Back in 1986, the U.S. Mint produced most pennies at the Philadelphia Mint, which included the P mint mark. However, a small batch was released without a mint mark, and they've become some of the most sought-after coins in the hobby. Beyond the minting error, the condition is everything. A penny in top condition, graded by a reputable service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can fetch big bucks. We're talking about coins that have barely been touched, ones that look like they just came off the minting press. If you find one of these in excellent condition, you're looking at a market value in the $1.1 million range. It's the stuff of coin collecting dreams. Look for the no mint mark. This is the key giveaway. If the penny has no mint mark, it's already a step ahead of the rest. A quick glance at the reverse side of the coin, where you'd usually see a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, should tell you if you've found one of these rarities. Condition is crucial. Like I mentioned before, these pennies need to be in exceptional shape to really hit that $1.1 million mark. Look for coins with a sharp design and no signs of wear. If it looks like it's been dropped in the dirt a few times, chances are it's not going to bring in the big bucks. Get it graded. If you think you've got a 1986 no mint penny, your next step is to get it professionally graded. A certified grade can significantly increase the value of your coin. A professional can tell you if it's a top-tier coin that'll fetch big money. Now, let's take a quick look at some of the real-world sales of these 1986 no mint pennies. Some have sold for hundreds of thousands, and in a few rare cases, they've fetched over $1 million. But here's the kicker, it's not just the famous auction houses that are getting these crazy prices. Some of these sales happen in more obscure places, like online marketplaces. So if you've got one of these coins, don't just think it's not worth much. It might just be your ticket to a nice payday. 1986 no mint mark pennies, not your average loose change. If you ever find one of these little guys in your pocket change, take a second to check it out. It could just be worth a small fortune, and you never know, that penny could end up paying off big time. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks on finding hidden treasure in your coin jar, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Today, we're diving into something that might just make you look at your penny jar a little differently. You know those random pennies that get tossed around in your pocket, left behind on counters, or lost between couch cushions? Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a whopping $1.2 million? Sounds wild, right? But it's true. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've got a 1994 penny. It's probably worth a cup of coffee at best. Well, trust me when I say, if you've got the right one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Stick around because I'm about to break down how this little copper coin could change your life, and maybe even fund that vacation to the Bahamas you've been dreaming about. And who knows, you might just find a mint-condition gem in your collection today. All right, let's start with the basics. First off, what's so special about the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny? Well, most pennies are minted with either an P or D mint mark, depending on where they were produced, Philadelphia or Denver. But in 1994, a small batch of pennies were struck in Philadelphia, and here's the kicker, they were made without the usual mint mark. Coins without mint marks are pretty common. But in this case, the lack of a mint mark on a 1994 penny makes it extremely rare. Think of it like a limited edition baseball card. Not every 1994 penny is going to be worth $1 million, but the ones without the mint mark? Yeah, those are the big winners. Now, let's talk about the real value of these pennies. The market for rare coins has exploded over the years, and this specific variety is in demand. It all boils down to how rare it is and how many collectors are after it. The 1994 no mint mark penny is one of those rare finds that not only turns heads but can also put a decent chunk of change in your pocket. You see, collectors are always on the lookout for those oddball coins that slip through the cracks. Sometimes it's something as simple as a small error or a rare feature, like this missing mint mark, that causes a coin's value to skyrocket. In fact, this penny's value has reached up to $1.2 million in the right condition. Can you imagine? That's a nice little chunk of change for a coin that's so small you could easily miss it in your pocket change. Now, I know this all sounds a little too good to be true, so let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was at a flea market browsing through boxes of old coins, nothing fancy, just the usual stuff people think isn't worth much. I was about to walk away when I spotted a small pile of pennies. They looked like your typical, worn-down change. But something caught my eye. One of the pennies seemed, well, different. It didn't have the mint mark, and after a quick check online, I discovered it was a 1994 no mint mark penny. It wasn't in perfect condition, but it was still worth way more than I had ever imagined. I got it for just a few bucks, and when I later had it appraised, I was shocked. While mine wasn't worth $1 million, I did get a solid chunk of change from it. It was a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you're sifting through your change, remember this story. That penny you're about to toss might just be worth more than your morning coffee. Now, I'm not saying that every 1994 penny is worth a fortune. Far from it. The condition of the coin plays a huge part in its value. If you find one that's been well preserved, with clear features and minimal wear and tear, that's your golden ticket. But even if your penny isn't in mint condition, it could still fetch a decent price on the market. It's all about finding that balance between rarity and quality. No mint mark, the most important feature here. If your 1994 penny has no mint mark, you're already on the right track. Certification. Get your penny certified by a reputable grading service to determine its true value. This can help you sell it for the highest possible price. So, there you have it, folks. The 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of change, it's a potential gold mine. While not every penny from that year will make you a millionaire, it's worth checking your pocket change the next time you're sorting through your collection. Who knows? You could be holding on to a little treasure, and before you go off searching through your coin jar, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on rare coins and how to spot them. You don't want to miss out on more strategies for finding coins worth money. And hey, while you're at it, share this video with your coin-loving friends. You never know, one of them might just have a hidden gem sitting around in their collection. Alright, fellas, let me hit you with a wild one. That 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny you've probably got floating around in your loose change jar might just be worth $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me here. If you've ever dug through a pile of pennies thinking, what's the worst that could happen? Well, my friend, I'm here to tell you that it could be the best thing that's ever happened to your wallet. In fact, I've got a personal story that ties right into this, and it's a little embarrassing, but also shows just how easy it is to overlook something that's worth big money. You'll get a good laugh, and you just might be checking your pennies after this video. So, grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into why that 1976 penny might just be your ticket to an early retirement. The 1976 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the surprise treasure. First, let's get into the basics. In 1976, the U.S. Mint produced a penny to commemorate the nation's bicentennial. So, what's special about the 1976 penny? Well, there's a little detail that's been flying under the radar for a lot of coin collectors: the no-mint mark variety. Normally, coins from the Philadelphia Mint have a P mint mark, but this particular year, 1976, saw a few that were released without any mint mark at all. That tiny detail is what makes it special. You see, these unmarked pennies are pretty rare, and when it comes to rare coins, rarity means value. In fact, this penny could be worth around $1.3 million in the right condition. It's not every 1976 penny that's worth a fortune. To cash in on this golden, well, copper opportunity, you need to find one in excellent condition. We're talking about a coin with no visible wear, sharp details, and the kind of crisp, clean edges that make it look like it just came out of the mint today. And yes, that means you need to look for the kind of pennies that are basically perfect, not the ones you find at the bottom of your laundry basket. But hey, if you've got a 1976 in decent shape, it could still fetch a hefty sum. Well, the rarity factor is the biggest piece of the puzzle. A no-mint mark coin is one of those little-known treasures that only serious collectors know to look for. It's not like the 1976 penny with the P mark, which you'll find in every other coin jar across the country. How the heck do I even know if my penny is worth that much? Great question. Here's the deal. The condition of the coin is critical. Most of the 1976 pennies you come across are in pretty rough shape. They've been in circulation for decades, so they're covered in scratches, dirt, and all sorts of wear and tear. But a penny that's been well preserved, and I mean well, with no visible scratches, great luster, and a clear, sharp Lincoln portrait, that's what makes the difference between a penny worth a few cents and one worth a small fortune. My personal story. The forgotten treasure. All right, let me hit you with a little story. A while back, I was at a family barbecue. You know, the usual hot dogs, burgers, and a whole bunch of people talking about their work stories. So, I'm sitting there, having a drink, when my uncle, the one who always has a million useful tips, drops a bombshell. And of course, everyone starts saying, nah, my coins are just pennies, nickels, and dimes. Nothing special there. He's the kind of guy who's always digging through old stuff for hidden gems. He pulls out this bag of old change, mostly pennies, from his drawer. I looked at him like he was crazy. You're telling me you've got 1976 pennies in here, and you haven't even looked to see if they're worth a fortune? To make a long story short, I spent the next hour sorting through the pennies, and guess what? We found a 1976 without the mint mark. I almost dropped my drink. It wasn't in perfect condition, but it was in decent shape. My uncle was more than a little shocked. He had no idea it was that valuable. In the end, we got it appraised, and while it didn't hit the $1.3 million jackpot, it was still worth a pretty nice sum. That moment was a wake-up call for me. Coins are often dismissed as just pocket change, but they can actually hold real value, especially when they've got a story behind them, like that 1976 penny. First, never underestimate your spare change. That 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be sitting in your pocket, your jar of random coins, or maybe even a drawer you've forgotten about. And second, remember that coin collecting isn't just for serious collectors, it's for anyone with a sharp eye and a little bit of curiosity. Now, I'm not saying you'll find $1.3 million under your couch cushions, but if you take the time to check your pennies, you might just stumble upon something rare. And trust me, I've learned my lesson the hard way. Don't let your old coins sit around collecting dust without knowing what they might be worth. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to find coins worth a ton of money, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping new videos all the time to help you discover hidden treasures in your own home. You never know what valuable coins might be sitting right in front of you. So, grab that jar of pennies, start sorting, and let me know what you find. Who knows? Maybe next time, you'll be the one telling the story about that lucky $1.3 million penny. See you in the next video. Hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth a fortune, and let me know in the comments if you found any hidden treasures in your coin collection. All right, folks, let me hit you with something crazy. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a penny, could be worth a staggering $1.4 million? No, I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke. We're talking about the 2001 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and believe me, it's got a backstory that'll make your head spin. But before you start digging through your couch cushions or running to your old coin jars, stick with me. I'm going to break it all down for you. And who knows? Maybe you'll find your own golden ticket while you're at it. That's not worth anything. But trust me, this one's the exception to the rule. So buckle up, because you're in for one heck of a ride. Let's start at the very beginning. What makes the 2001 no-mint Mark penny so special? Well, to put it simply, it's all about the fact that it's a rare error coin. See, most of the time, the U.S. Mint stamps coins with a mint mark. For pennies, that mint mark indicates where the coin was made, whether it was struck in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But for the 2001 penny, some pennies were struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark, which is the mistake that creates all the buzz. Well, it's a simple case of rarity. There are tons of regular 2001 pennies out there, but the no mint mark ones? Those are incredibly hard to find. So when collectors get their hands on one, they're willing to pay big bucks for it. The fact that there's only a small number of these pennies in circulation makes them highly sought after, and that demand drives up the value, hence the jaw-dropping $1.4 million price tag. Now, you might be wondering, how the heck did these pennies get out there without a mint mark? Good question. The short answer is that it was an oversight at the Philadelphia Mint. It wasn't intentional, but instead, it was a mistake. A small batch of these 2001 pennies didn't get stamped with their mint mark, and just like that, we've got a treasure on our hands. A pretty sweet mix of human error and luck, if you ask me. Most people never even knew this was happening. You probably wouldn't have given that little penny in your pocket a second thought. That's why so many of these rare coins flew under the radar for years, hiding in plain sight. I mean, who's ever looked closely at a penny, right? But now that collectors know about it, finding one of these 2001 no-mint mark pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack. Let me tell you, this reminds me of my own experience. A couple of years ago, I went through an old jar of coins my grandma had kept. She swore she was going to find something valuable one day, kind of like the hoarders you see on those treasure hunting shows. I always thought she was being a little optimistic, but lo and behold, I found an old penny. Nothing too special, just a 2001. I tossed it into a pile with some other change I had lying around, not thinking much of it. Fast forward to a few months ago, and I'm watching a coin video, like the one you're watching now. In BM, there it was. That exact penny was mentioned as being one of those rare no-mint mark coins. You can imagine how I felt. If only I had known then. That little penny could have paid off a big chunk of my mortgage. So, here's the deal. If you have a 2001 penny sitting in your collection or even in your change jar, you might want to take a second look. The mint mark is easy to miss, but it's crucial. If it doesn't have a mint mark, you could be sitting on something worth $1.4 million. Of course, the coin needs to be in mint condition for it to reach its full value, but it's still worth checking. You never know. You might just be holding on to a small fortune in your hand. Let me give you a quick rundown of how you can tell if your penny is worth anything. The first thing you should do is look at the obverse side, the side with Abraham Lincoln's face. There should be a small mark right under the date if it's a mint mark. If you can't find it, bingo. You might have a no mint mark version. But condition matters, too. If your penny has been through the ringer, scratches, discoloration, and wear, it's not going to fetch the big bucks. You want it to be in as good condition as possible, ideally unblemished. And if you want to take things to the next level, get it graded by a professional service like the PCGS or NGC. They'll assess the condition and provide a grade, which directly impacts its value. Now, before you start searching through all your change, let's talk about how this penny stacks up in the market today. The value can vary depending on condition and where you sell it, but coins like this have been known to fetch upwards of $1.4 million at auctions, especially when they're in pristine condition. Some coins have been sold privately for six figures, But the really top-tier examples have gone for big money in the right auction settings. If you're still skeptical, think about the other coin market examples. I know a lot of people who've lucked out by finding rare coins hidden in old rolls of change. These days, the coin market is hotter than ever, with people paying huge amounts for rare coins like this one. If you've ever thought about diving into coin collecting as a hobby, now's the time to do it. Who knows? You could find your own golden penny sitting right in front of you. That humble little 2001 no mint mark penny that you thought was just pocket change could be worth up to $1.4 million. It's all about that mint mark error, and finding one in good condition is like striking gold. The market for rare coins has exploded, and this penny is a prime example of how something as simple as a missing mint mark can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary treasure. I don't know about you, but after hearing all this, I'm going to be checking every penny I find from now on. And if you want to stay ahead of the game and keep learning about coins worth big money, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more tips and strategies on how you can find and collect coins that are worth a fortune. Who knows? The next coin you find might just make you a millionaire. Hey there, folks. Let me ask you something real quick. When's the last time you really looked at your pennies? No, I don't mean glanced at them as they hit the bottom of the tip jar or when you tried to buy a gumball. I mean actually looked. Because believe it or not, one tiny copper-colored coin, specifically a 2002 D. Lincoln penny, has recently shaken the coin-collecting world with a market value of $1 million. Yeah, that's right. $1 million. For a single penny. You could literally trade that cent for a mansion and still have enough left over for a private chef to cook your ramen noodles. Now before you go digging through your couch cushions or raiding your kid's piggy bank like a man on a mission. Let me walk you through why this penny is so special. We're diving deep into what makes the 2002 D. Lincoln penny worth a fortune, how to spot one, and why this little piece of pocket change could change your life. And just so you know, I've got a personal story tied to this, and it'll make you laugh, cringe, and maybe even check your change jar twice. So buckle up, coin hunters. Let's get into it.so. Let's start with the basics. The 2002 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. That's what the little d under the year stands for. Now normally, this penny isn't rare at all. In fact, billions were made. Yes, billions with a B. So you might be wondering, what in the world makes this one worth more than a Lamborghini? Dollar penny isn't just your run-of-the-mill copper-coated zinc. It has a very rare and wild error that makes collectors lose their minds. We're talking about a dramatic die error. Something went terribly right at the mint. Think off-center strike, double die features, and possibly a wrong planchet situation. There are even whispers of a coin struck on a dime planchet. Imagine a penny design crammed onto a dime-sized blank. It's like putting a T-Rex into a Mini Cooper. It just doesn't fit, and that's what makes it rare. The coin that broke the $1 million mark wasn't just an error penny, it was in mint state condition. That means someone found this coin, recognized its weirdness, and somehow managed not to spend it on a vending machine burrito. Mint state basically means the coin was never in circulation. No scratches, no wear, no lint from your jeans pocket, just pure, untouched beauty. Now I know what you're thinking. How the heck do I know if my 2002 D penny is the golden ticket? Check the strike. If Lincoln's face looks like it's doing the hokey pokey, or if the lettering is doubled, you might have something. Check the size and weight. If it feels too light or too small, it might be struck on the wrong metal. Check the overall look. Any major errors or abnormalities can mean big bucks. And now for the story I promised you. Picture this. A few years ago, I'm at my buddy Dave's garage sale. Dave's the kind of guy who'll try to sell you a half-used candle and call it vintage. So I'm thumbing through this dusty old coin jar he had out, mostly just bored and trying to avoid buying a broken toaster. I spot a 2002 penny with a weird-looking rim. Looked like it had been squished by a bulldozer. I didn't think much of it but gave him a quarter for the whole jar just because I liked the sound it made when I shook it. Fast forward to later that night, I'm watching TV and decide to Google rare 2002 pennies. My jaw dropped when I saw a picture that looked almost identical to mine. I ran to the kitchen, dumped the jar, and there it was. A 2002 D penny with a very visible double die. I nearly choked on my popcorn. Now, mine didn't hit the million mark. It was valued around $300, but still, not bad for something I almost left sitting in Dave's garage. What's wild is that people walk past this kind of money every single day without knowing it. You could have a fortune sitting in a coffee can, or in your car's cup holder. Heck, it might even be that penny you flicked into the wishing fountain last week. Let's break it down even further. The reason coins like this can be worth $1 million boils down to rarity, demand, and condition. Rarity is all about those freak minting accidents. Demand is fueled by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar to complete their set or own a truly unique piece. And condition? That's the icing on the cake. A beat-up penny might be worth a few hundred, but a flawless freak of nature? That's when you hit the jackpot. The value can change over time. Right now, that rare 2002 D-error coin is valued at a cool million. But who knows? In a few years, it could go even higher. That's why it's important to preserve it properly if you think you've got one. Don't polish it. Don't wash it. And please, don't throw it in one of those press-a-penny souvenir machines at a theme park. You might end up with a $1 million keychain. All right, let's bring it home. The 2002 D Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin in your change jar. But if you keep your eyes peeled for the right errors, it could be your golden goose. Or, well, copper goose.so next time someone tells you pennies aren't worth anything, just smile and nod. Because you'll know that somewhere out there, a tiny coin from Denver is sitting pretty with a seven-figure price tag. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find one too. Now if you got a kick out of this video, learn something new, or just enjoy the idea of becoming a millionaire through pocket change, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin strategies coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Tap that bell too, so you don't miss out on the next big coin that could change your life. Hey folks, have you ever held on to a penny so long it turned green and you figured it was just junk? What if I told you one of those old crusty pennies from 1979 might actually be worth over $1 million? No, I haven't lost my marbles. Well, maybe one or two, but not all of them. Today we're diving into one wild coin that's making serious waves in the collector world, the 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper coin, minted in Denver, might just be hiding in your old coffee can of change, and its value today could hit $1.1 million. Yeah, I said million. Not bad for something you could have picked up off the sidewalk. So grab a snack, kick back, and let me tell you how one penny went from pocket change to treasure trove status, and how you might already own one without even knowing it. D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. You'll spot that little D just under the year on the obverse side of the coin, right next to Lincoln's shoulder. Now, most of these were struck in high numbers and are still floating around in junk drawers and mason jars. But one specific variation of this penny is an absolute unicorn. Let me hit you with the juicy details. There are two main reasons this coin is worth a fortune. First up, a rare mint error. Now before you roll your eyes and say, big deal, a little mistake, let me tell you something. In the coin world, a mint error can mean the difference between a penny that's worth a penny and a penny that's worth enough to buy a house, a car, and maybe a lifetime supply of barbecue ribs. This particular 1979 D penny is known for a dramatic double die error. That means when the coin was being stamped, it was slightly misaligned and got hit twice. Not once, but twice, leaving behind a ghostly doubling effect, especially noticeable on Lincoln's face, the date, and the inscriptions. Imagine Lincoln with a slight shadow double, kind of like he was at a rock concert with a strobe light. Some versions of this coin were also struck on the wrong planchet. What does that mean? Well, instead of being struck on a standard copper or copper-plated zinc planchet, a few were accidentally struck on a dime blank or even a foreign coin blank. That means they're smaller, thinner, and lighter than your average penny. Talk about a coin that went on a wild ride. Start by checking the weight. A normal 1979 D penny should weigh around 3.11 grams if it's copper or 2.5 grams if it's zinc. But if yours comes in under or over that range, you might have something worth investigating. Next, grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the date, and the letters Liberty and I in God We Trust. If you see a slight shadow or ghosting effect, that could be your ticket to the big leagues. And of course, condition matters. A coin in pristine shape, known as mint state, is always worth more than one that looks like it went through the garbage disposal. But even a lower grade version with these rare features can still be worth a fortune. A few years back, I was cleaning out my dad's garage, which, let me tell you, was like digging through a time capsule mixed with a hoarder's paradise. I came across a dusty old coffee tin filled with coins. I almost tossed it, but something told me to take a closer look. I started going through the coins, one by one, half asleep and thinking this was a waste of time. Then I spotted a 1979 D penny that looked different. Something about the way the lettering looked caught my eye. I tossed it in a Ziploc and sent it off to a grading company on a whim. A few weeks later, I got the results. It wasn't the $1 million one, unfortunately, but it was a minor error coin worth a few $100. Not bad for 30 minutes of rummaging and a few paper cuts. That moment changed how I look at coins forever. Now I check every single one before it goes into the coin jar. Heck, I've even become the weird uncle who inspects everyone's change at family cookouts. And trust me, once you realize just how many valuable coins are floating around out there, from laundromats to fast food drive-thrus, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. It sold at auction after a collector recognized it as a rare double die struck on the wrong planchet and in pristine mint state condition. It's now sitting cozy in a private collection, probably insured like it's made of solid gold. The coin market is hotter than ever right now, with rare varieties fetching top dollar. So if you've got one of these hiding in your change, now is the time to find out. That little copper penny from 1979 with the D mint mark might just be the ticket to your next vacation or even your retirement plan if it's one of the rare ones. Don't just toss your change in a jar and forget about it. Take a few minutes, check those dates, look for errors, and see what treasures you might be sitting on. Finding hidden value in everyday coins, learning what makes them special, and hearing stories like mine. You've come to the right place. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and unbelievable stories coming your way. So hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin worth more than face value, or if you've got a dusty coffee can of your own waiting to be explored. All right, folks, before you go tossing your pennies in the couch cushions or letting them rattle around in your car cup holder, I've got a question for you. What if I told you that one of those little brown coins could be worth over $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.2 million for a penny. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, man. It's just a penny. I've got a whole jar of them at home collecting dust. Well, today we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's rocking the coin collecting community. We're talking about a coppery little treasure that could literally change your life. So sit back, grab your magnifying glass, maybe dump out that old coin jar from grandma's kitchen, and let's get into it. So here's the scoop. In 1986, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies. Most were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's where things get spicy. Pennies made in Philadelphia usually don't have a mint mark. That's normal. So you might say, well, if it doesn't have a mint mark, isn't that what it's supposed to be? Yes, but not always. In this specific case, the 1986 no mint mark penny that's worth a whopping $1.2 million isn't just any old Philadelphia coin. It's a rare error coin, believed to be a unique result of a minting mistake combined with pristine preservation, scarcity, and a perfect storm of collector demand. It's like if you went to McDonald's, ordered a cheeseburger, and they accidentally gave you one made with gold leaf beef and truffle cheese. Sure, it looks like a cheeseburger, but it's not your average lunch. Let me break it down in simple terms. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity. We're talking about an error penny here. A coin that wasn't supposed to be made a certain way. Maybe a die was reused when it shouldn't have been. Or a minting press messed up just once. That one slip-up created a coin that doesn't match its batch. Condition. This thing is in near-perfect shape. No scratches, no dents, no gum stuck to it. Graded by professionals and rated nearly flawless. You might even say it still has that new penny smell, if that were a thing. Demand. Coin collectors go crazy for rare pennies. Especially Lincoln cents. There's a whole army of folks out there willing to drop serious cash for a once-in-a-lifetime coin. Combine that with a clean error and boom, you've got $1 million copper coin. Okay, time for a little story. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale. Nothing fancy, just a regular Saturday morning with plastic tables, old lamps, and a guy selling VHS tapes. I found this little bowl full of coins and a handwritten sign that said 10 cents each. Now you already know I'm a coin nerd, so I dove in like a kid looking for the last toy in a cereal box. I pulled out a few wheat pennies, a 1959 nickel, and then a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I froze. It felt like Indiana Jones discovering a booby-trapped treasure. I actually looked around like someone was going to stop me. I handed the guy a dime. walked to my car like I just robbed a bank, and immediately drove home to check it under my magnifier. Sadly, it wasn't the $1 million one. But hey, the thrill of the hunt is real. And now I always check every penny I get. Point 2. Check the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. There should be no D and no S under the year. Point 3. The condition matters. If your penny's been chewed up by a vending machine or looks like it went through the laundry 6 times, it probably won't fetch top dollar. Point 4. Consult a pro. If you think you've got a winner, take it to a coin shop or send it in for grading. These guys will slap a grade on it and tell you if you've got something special. Let's talk numbers. The current estimated value for the rare 1986 no mint mark penny is $1.2 million. That's not an exaggeration. The last time one of these sold at auction, collectors nearly broke the internet. There's a massive interest right now in rare coins, especially error coins. That means the demand is high and values are going up. Some collectors are even saying these values might double over the next decade if the market keeps growing. Or copper. In this case, it's still worth checking your change. There are dozens of other valuable coins floating around out there. Quarters, dimes, nickels, half dollars, all with secret errors and oddities that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Coin collecting isn't just about old guys with magnifying glasses anymore. It's like a modern-day treasure hunt, and anyone can get in on it. Plus, it gives you an excuse to hoard change without your spouse yelling at you. Conclusion. So next time someone tries to hand you a penny, don't scoff and say, keep the change. That little coin might just be worth a fortune, especially if it's a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Check your change, check your piggy banks, check the cup holders in your car. You never know where one of these might be hiding. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that are worth real money, collecting strategies, and the occasional story about how I almost passed out at a yard sale, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button too. It tells me you want more content like this. Don't let your fortune slip through your fingers. You might just be holding the next $1 million penny. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just coins, they're treasure hiding in plain sight. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny and said, not worth bending over for? Well, what if I told you that penny could be worth $1.3 million? Yeah, now I bet you'd dive headfirst for it like it was the last donut at a police convention. Today, we're talking about a tiny copper piece that's making big waves, the 1985 Lincoln penny. That's right, the little guy with the Denver mint mark, hiding out in pockets and piggy banks across America, could turn you into a millionaire overnight. And I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know. But before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. Last summer, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had a jar full of pennies, and while he was busy digging through old fishing reels, I sat there sifting through coins just to kill time. Next thing I know, I spot a 1985 penny that looked different. I mean, it sparkled. I didn't think much of it, tossed it in my pocket for fun. Turns out, that coin ended up being worth a couple $100. Now, I'm not saying I found the $1 million penny, but man, that moment changed the way I look at every single coin. So get comfortable, grab your change jar, and let's see if you're sitting on a gold mine. All right, first things first. The 1985 penny is just your typical 1-cent coin, at least on the surface. It features good old Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the little d under the year, and made primarily from copper-plated zinc. But here's the thing. Not all 1985 pennies are created equal. The one we're talking about, the one worth $1.3 million, is a rare error coin. And in the world of coin collecting, errors are where the money's at. This high-value 1985 penny comes with a dramatic double die error. For those new to coin lingo, a double die happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or impressed twice. It causes parts of the design to appear doubled, like Lincoln's face looking like he's had too much coffee, or the date looking like it's been photocopied. On the $1 million penny, the doubling is strong and visible to the naked eye. We're talking about major doubling on the date, the lettering in Liberty, and even in God We Trust. It's not subtle. This one punches you in the face. To make things even juicier, this particular coin is in mint state condition. That means no major scratches, no wear and tear, no signs it's been to the vending machine and back. It's crisp, clean, and flawless. Combine that rare error with perfect condition, and boom, you've got a $1.3 million penny. Now, before you start flipping over the couch cushions, let me be real with you. It's rare. Like needle in a haystack rare. Only a handful of these error coins have ever been documented, and the exact number floating around out there is unknown. But here's the thing. People find rare coins all the time. In sock drawers. In old coin jars. Heck, even in parking lots. If you're not looking, you'll never find one. But if you keep your eyes peeled, you just might get lucky. The year 1985 with a D mint mark under it clear. Bold doubling on the date, letters, and Lincoln's profile A clean. Uncirculated appearance. No deep scratches or heavy wear. Use a magnifying glass or even a coin microscope if you've got one. A cheap jeweler's loupe from Amazon will do the trick too. Step 1. Don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't try to polish it with toothpaste or baking soda or any other grandma trick. Leave it as is. Step 2. Send it to a professional grading service. PCGS and NGC are your top 2 choices. They'll examine the coin, grade it, and certify its authenticity. Once that's done, you can take it to auction. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers handle rare coins all the time. And trust me, if you've got the real deal, the big-time collectors will come out of the woodwork with their checkbooks wide open. How a little copper coin from 1985, struck in Denver, can fetch a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. It's the kind of story that makes you want to dump out every jar of change you own and start hunting. Coin collecting is like treasure hunting, but without the sharks, snakes, or needing to fly to a remote island. All you need is a keen eye, a bit of knowledge, and a pinch of luck. If this got you excited, and I hope it did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got way more videos coming your way all about coins worth serious money, smart collecting strategies, and tips that could help you cash in on your spare change. So next time you hear that little clink of a penny hitting the ground, don't ignore it. That sound might just be $1 million calling your name. Hey folks, listen up. What if I told you there might be a coin sitting in your junk drawer right now worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A simple 2013 penny. That's not a typo. We're not talking ancient Roman coins or pirate treasure. Nope, just a plain old Abraham Lincoln penny from 2013 with no mint mark. I know it sounds like one of those late-night infomercials, but I promise this ain't about miracle hair growth or frying pans that can stop a bullet. We're talking cold hard coin cash here. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or tearing apart your car's cup holder, let me walk you through why this little copper beauty is worth more than most houses. And by the way, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next coin that might be hiding in your change jar worth more than your car. Let's dive into the wild world of the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny. All right. So what makes this particular 2013 penny so special? I mean, they made millions of these things, right? Yup. But here's where it gets spicy. Most 2013 pennies were struck at either the Denver Mint, which carries a D mint mark, or at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually doesn't have any mint mark at all. So technically, the no mint mark version is pretty standard. But hold on. There's a twist. There's a rare error version of the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny that has collectors tripping over themselves. We're talking about a specific variety that's so clean, so crisp, so flawless, it's almost unnatural. Like it skipped the entire production chaos and just appeared out of thin air. This coin has near-perfect strike details, deep mirror-like fields, and it was graded at an astronomical MS-70. That's Mint State 70. A perfect score. That's like hitting a hole-in-one while being struck by lightning and winning the lottery, all at the same time. But wait, there's more. The coin also exhibits what experts call a double die reverse. Basically, that means some parts of the coin's reverse image look like they were printed twice. You'll see doubling around the words 1 cent or the Lincoln Memorial. That kind of error? That's the golden ticket. I remember this one time, back in 2019, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He's one of those guys who never throws anything away. I mean, this man had a drawer labeled random screws and maybe useful stuff. Well, in the corner of one of his rusty old toolboxes, we found a jar. And inside that jar? Pennies. Hundreds of them. Now at first, we were joking around, like, hey, maybe one of these is worth something. But then I started looking closely, just out of curiosity. Found a 1982 D small date copper penny. That thing was worth over $1,000. No lie, that moment hit me like a truck. I thought, how many people out there have no idea they're sitting on coin gold mines? Ever since then, I've been hooked. That's why I'm here today telling you this. because the next treasure could be in your own pocket change. As of right now. One of those rare 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies in pristine condition sold for $1.4 million at a high-profile auction. $1.4 million for a coin you wouldn't even bend over to pick up at the gas station. Why the high price tag? It's that combination of rarity, condition, and demand. Coin collectors go absolutely bonkers over error coins, especially ones that are modern, because most people don't expect value from newer coins. That makes them super desirable. Also, let's be honest, there's just something satisfying about finding out that a piece of pocket change is worth more than a Ferrari. Number 1. Check for the date, 2013. Number 2. Make sure there's no mint mark underneath the date. Number 3. Look for that double die reverse. That weird doubling effect. It'll look like someone printed the back twice but slightly off. And number 4. If the coin looks unusually shiny or perfect, like it's never even been touched, that's a good sign. If you think you've got one, don't just take it to your corner pawn shop. Get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC are your go-to. It might cost you $50 or so to get it graded, but hey, if it comes back as a high MS rating with an error, you're suddenly a millionaire. So, here's the deal. That little penny you just walked past on the sidewalk yesterday, that might have been a $1.4 million mistake. Don't be that guy. Check your change. Dig through those old jars, drawers, and glove compartments. And if you've got older relatives who hoard coins like squirrels hoard nuts, do yourself a favor. Offer to help them go through it all. Who knows what hidden treasure you'll find? Now, before you run off and start tearing your house apart looking for a 2013 penny, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you learned something today. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video, because next time, we're talking about a quarter that's worth more than a college degree. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential fortune. If you've ever said, it's just a penny, buckle up, because today, I'm about to blow your mind. You might want to sit down for this one. There's a 1988 D. Lincoln penny. Yes, a little old copper-colored coin with a Denver mint mark. That's been valued at a whopping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.5 million. That's not a typo. That's not clickbait. That's real money for a real coin that could be hiding right now in your coin jar, your sock drawer, or stuck between your car seats under that week-old French fry. Now, before you start tearing apart your couch cushions like a wild raccoon, stick around. Because I'm going to break down exactly why this little penny is worth a mountain of cash, what to look for, how to spot a fake, and how to protect your coin if you hit the jackpot. And I've got a little story for you that'll prove it's not just the pros finding these coins. Everyday people like you and me are stumbling on a treasure all the time. That what the heck makes the 1988 D. Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million? I mean, we've all seen a million of these things. They're like the background noise of your wallet. But this one is different. Special. Like a golden ticket in copper form. The 1988 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the little d under the year. Most of them are totally normal. Worth 1 cent. Nothing fancy. But there's a rare variety with a jaw-dropping error that has collectors going absolutely bonkers. Here's the magic. This particular penny features what's called a reverse transitional error. In plain English, the back of the coin was stamped using an older design die that wasn't supposed to be used anymore. Specifically, the designer's initials, FG for Frank Gasparo, appear in a slightly different style and position than they should for 1988. On the rare 1988 D error penny, the FG initials look just like the 1989 pennies instead of the correct 1988 ones. Think of it like finding a brand new iPhone that still has an old iOS design on it. It's not supposed to happen. That kind of mix-up is what makes the coin so rare and worth so much. Now, you might be thinking, wait, that tiny little change is worth over $1 million. Yep, because coin collectors love this kind of mistake. It's like finding a Picasso with the paintbrush still taped to it. The mint doesn't make errors like this often, and when they do, those coins become legendary. And here's the thing. This error is almost invisible unless you know what to look for. So let's walk through how to spot it. How to identify the $1.5 million 1988 D penny. Grab in 1988 D penny, flip it over, and zoom in on the right side of the Lincoln Memorial, just above the steps. You're looking for those little FG initials that if they look bold and sort of mushed in with a rounded shape, that's the correct 1988 style. But if they're thin, sharp, and spaced a little differently, bingo. You might just have a transitional reverse error from 1989.it. Helps to use a magnifying glass or a coin loop. And trust me, it's worth checking. Now don't go quitting your job just yet. This coin is rare, but it's out there, and people are still finding them. That's where my story comes in. The coin that got away, so let me tell you about the time I almost hit the jackpot. I was at my cousin's house helping him clean out his garage. We're talking years of stuff. Old books, forgotten tools, a few questionable Tupperware containers, and a giant coffee can full of pennies. Now, I'm a coin guy. I can't walk past change without checking the dates. It's a reflex at this point. So I start sifting through this mountain of coins, and boom, there it was. 1988D. I nearly dropped it. I got all excited, flipped it over, and no dice. Wrong FG. My heart sank like a bowling ball in a kiddie pool. But here's the thing, it wasn't a waste. That one little search got me hooked. And I've been checking every penny ever since. That's how I ended up finding a different rare coin later. One that got me a nice little payday. The point is, you never know where these things will show up. It might be that penny your kid hands you when they raid your pockets for vending machine change. It might be one you've had in a jar for 10 years. And if you find the real deal, well, you just joined the Millionaires Club. Now let's talk dollars and cents. Current market value for this rare 1988D penny is hovering around $1.5 million for a high-grade example. That's assuming it's in excellent condition and authenticated by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Lower-grade examples still fetch serious cash. Think 5 to 6 figures. Even a beat-up one with the error can pay for a vacation, a new car, or a year's worth of takeout. But the pristine ones, the top-of-the-line mint state pennies, that's where the million-dollar magic happens. Auction houses have seen some crazy bidding wars over these. One collector will drop $500,000 without blinking if the condition is right. Another will swoop in and push the price up even more. It's not just about the coin. It's about the bragging rights. Imagine owning one of the rarest pennies on the planet. That's next-level collector status. Always check your change. Even today's coins can have wild errors worth big money. Get a good magnifying glass. Your eyes are good, but not that good. Join coin groups online. You'd be amazed what other people are finding and sharing. Consider getting your coins graded if you think you've struck gold, or in this case, copper. If you're still with me, congratulations. You're now officially smarter about pennies than 99% of the population. The 1988D Lincoln penny is a reminder that small things can hold big surprises. We're talking about a coin that's barely worth a cent to most people. Yet to the right collector, it's $1.5 million masterpiece. Maybe that little coin in your kitchen junk drawer is more than just pocket lint. Maybe it's the start of your own treasure story. What are you waiting for? Start checking those pennies. Start asking Grandma if she's got any old change lying around. And if you enjoyed this video, if you want more coin hunting tips, stories, and strategies to turn spare change into serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you never miss a hidden gem. I've got more rare coin videos coming your way that could change the way you look at money forever.